I'm doing well, gentlemen. How are you?
We're good. You're on the road. Where are you headed now?
We are, we're on 95 right now, heading up to University of New England in Maine.
UNE, going up to crazy Maine. Well, we appreciate you coming on. Scott Reslow here with Matty Roach, and we're going to ask you a couple questions, see how you're feeling, and then wish you good luck on your way up there to play. Who you got, Regis first?
We play Regis on the first game tonight at 7:30. And University of New England plays UMaine Farmington before us at 5:30. So it should be a good weekend of basketball.
Excellent. So you on the bus right now? Because you sound crystal clear.
Oh, yeah, I am on the bus. We just had to turn down some music, but I think everybody's settling in and probably about to take a nap.
Well, I'm glad we caught you during that period of the tour because, like I said, you're coming through great. So,
good.
It's a new year, man, new opportunities. Could you talk a little bit about the additions to the squad this year and some of the expectations your team now has for the 16-17 season?
Absolutely. It is, every year when we start, we talk about it being a new year, and, we try not to carry over expectations, but set new goals and have a different focus for the year. Even though the goal is always the same, to win the GNAC championship and go to the NCAA tournament, we want to keep everything in perspective, and that it is a new year. We do have a new group. We returned a lot from last year for sure, and I'm excited for those players to continue their growth. But we also added, a sophomore transfer, Allie Mitchell, who we're excited about, and I know our freshman wing player, Brittany Gallagher, who's going to be good, and a handful of other freshmen who are, so far really, really improving every day and challenging the upperclassmen and making us better. So we're excited for those players as well.
Now, Maddie and I have talked a lot in the past shows about the importance of recruiting, and you touched on it there, and recruiting the right players. And you've been really successful in getting the right players for your program. How were you able to bring in such talented freshmen and know that they were the right players for your system?
Yeah, so as a coach, it's a long process through the recruiting, phase of everything, and so we, building the relationship between player and coach. But when we have our prospective student athletes on campus, we expose them to everything that JWU is all about, and that's always a good thing. They get to see what it's like to be a Wildcat and to be with the team, and those are the connections that really motivate students to come to be part of what we're all about. And JWU has a lot to offer, a lot of great things to offer to our student athletes. And while they're here, our current student athletes do a good job of showing them around and showing them how they can be successful at Johnson Wales. So it's certainly nice, and we've been fortunate to have freshmen come in and be prepared and ready to play and compete at a high level. And I don't think that this class is any different. We're going to see maybe a little bit later on in the season, because we do have so many good returning players, but I think through their development they'll be able to make an impact when we get into the GNAC conference schedule.
Coach, flipping the script real quick, you talked a lot about the freshmen and the bringing some of the new kids in the past couple of years. How has that worked with the really, I think now, two upperclassmen, the elder statesmen or women, if you will, on the team, Bobby and Uche? How have they kind of helped you with this new group, and how do you think they will be moving forward this season for you?
Yeah, absolutely. Bobby's really stepped into a leadership role as a senior this year, and she's always, she's led with her competitiveness and her enthusiasm for the game, and led by example through her play. But there's two sides to Bobby, and Bobby's done a great job this year of taking players aside and telling them what her experiences have been and guiding them through the early parts of the season. And we have two psychology majors. I think Kim Viafara, who's also a senior but listed as a junior because she has some eligibility left, and Uche, who's also a psychology major. They're both in their internships, and they're actually using the knowledge that they've learned through their major into helping grow the dynamics of our team. And they've both done a great job with our freshmen, again, making sure that they're doing the right things correctly, and getting up to speed when we're trying to move things through practice, and really making them feel like they're part of our crew and our family. So they've all three of them have done a great job with that.
Excellent. I forgot about Kim. Sorry. Don't tell her.
That's of course not. Of course not. I think she's listening to other music. She's not listening right now on the radio.
You got lucky, Maddie. So the conference is getting better and better. I mean, St. Joe's and Maine won it last year, and you and Emmanuel are always top notch. Who's got the biggest target on their back in the conference this year?
Yeah, it shifts. I know, in the polls, St. Joe's and us were picked number 1, and Emmanuel was right behind us in 2 in our division. And I think, out of the 3 of us, I think every night that we play, teams are bringing their best, to compete with us. So, certainly though, you can't forget Norwich. They're up in northern Vermont, and they, they've got a team that returns everybody from last year, and so they'll certainly be competitive. And one team that I've kind of keeping my eye on is Albertus Magnus again. Late last season, they lost their best player to some illness and some injury, and she'll be back this year with some returning, some other returners. So I'm figuring that they're going to be competitive when it comes down to it as well. So yeah, the GRANT conference, in the last couple of years has been extremely competitive. Not just in our conference, but certainly out of conference as well. And so that's just. Every night now is you got to bring it. You have to bring your A game, and you have to prepare for everything, and not take any team for granted. So that's kind of been our taking a book out of the taking a page out of the Patriots book. We take one game at a time and just make sure that we all do our jobs to the best of our abilities.
Let's talk a little bit about basketball, because as most know, I played that a little bit as well. What's your team's identity on the court? What does your team pride itself in doing when you take the floor?
Yeah, it's playing together, but playing for each other, and that's at both ends. But we talk a lot about it at the defensive end, and that you have to be there to help each other out and support each other, and play with to be relentless, but to play united. And so defensively, I think is our toughness and our intensity. That really shows through our defense. And we use offense to have fun together and to play together, and to really get out and run and play up tempo, and to create the type of energy that we want the game to have, and to set the tempo that we want the game to be played at.
What's your since you're on the road, man, what's your key to ensuring peak performance when on the road? Because that's the hardest part. Everyone's good at home, but how do you maintain and really push for peak performance when you're in someone else's house?
Yeah, absolutely. And this year we'll be on the road for the entirety of November and most of December. So it's important for us, and it has been even through one of our scrimmages this year, to create some comfortability and routine, and try to keep everything the same on game day as much as possible, so that when you lead up to game time, you know what to expect. Certainly my favorite place, and, I guess I'm not trying to plug anything, but we always make a Panera stop. That's key. So we'll fuel up and, have a good lunch together. We're going up a little bit early today so we can have a pregame practice on the floor we're going to play at tonight. So again, for our players to have some familiarity with the gym and get some shots up and to prepare our game plan is always key. But yeah, I think our team thrives on going into an opponent's gym and really from the start of the game taking the crowd out of it, and we feed off each other's energy, and we've proven that we can go on the road and compete against the best teams, and we're hoping that trend continues this season as well.
I got to ask you, Coach, we've used Panera in the past, and they never get the orders right. How do you make that work, man? Because, I need to know.
Well, we don't call it – that's true. We don't call ahead anymore. We just schedule enough time to be able to stop in and shake out our legs and walk around and order there, so we make sure we get it right. But plus our – I don't know if it's the same with your players, but our players don't change their order, much at all. So they keep with the same food. So they they make sure it gets done right.
Nice. I got an interesting question here. This is the one I've been dying to ask you.
Okay, I'm ready.
Here you go. You've been in the conference tournament now every year since you've been here, and you've experienced every way you can finish, whether you bow out in the quarters, bow out in the semis, or win the whole thing. How hard is it to win a conference title?
Yeah, it's incredibly difficult. We talk about it throughout the year. You have to be able to win 3 games in a week, Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, against really tough, opponents playing at their best. And, you play the GNAC conference schedule, and the goal for us is at the end of it to have some home games in the playoffs. That's always, you just mentioned being on the road is not easy. So especially in the playoffs, you want to, be in the top 2 and hopefully host some of those games like we did last year. We hosted, the quarters and then the semis. Everyone's playing at their best then at that time, and you have seniors who are looking at the face of playing in their last game, and so they're giving everything that they have. And then at that time of year, it just comes down to who's going to execute the game plans the best, and late in games, which players are going to make the plays that win the game. So, that's a ways from now. It's down the road, and we're not quite thinking about that yet. But as a coach know, we are. Our coaching staff is making moves right now to, prepare us for that, and so that we're playing at our best when that time comes around. So, hopefully this year again we'll be able to host some games and be right in the mix of things. Absolutely.
Corey, how do you think the 2 divisions new this year for the women's basketball conference? How do you think the divisions are going to impact that tournament in the end game?
Yeah, it's really interesting how it's done with the we have the 2 divisions, and then we'll cross over in playoffs. So the 1 seed from the South Division will play the 4 seed of the North Division. So not ever really having been through that, I'm not sure what that's going to be like or how that's going to look. You can predict which division is stronger or weaker at the beginning of the season, but as the season progresses and goes on, things can change. It'll be different for sure. It'll be, something that we'll have to adjust to and on the fly, and hopefully be ahead of anything that, like I said, we'll just prepare for anything and be prepared, but not ever really experience that or, there's very few coaches that I can contact that actually have a similar thing, so I can't even pull off from any of their experiences. So, if anything, it'll be something dynamic and different that the GNAC does this year, and hopefully the best team comes out of it and they get to go and compete in the NCAA tournament.
Last question for me, Coach. What upcoming matchups are you most excited about in conference and out of conference?
Oh, tough question, because they're all going to be good games. They're all going to be tough games. We've got some good and tough ones on the road. Starting with tonight, playing Regis in the season opener. They'll be joining our conference next year, so I'm sure they're looking to make an impact and show that that they're gonna make a wave in the GNAC coming in. But we're on the road a lot, so we at Curry on Tuesday, and then we play 2 really tough games Saturday and Sunday after Thanksgiving against really 2 top new MAC teams, Springfield and WPI. WPI was an NCAA team last year. And then it doesn't get any easier after that. We play Rick, who's a crosstown rival, and then UMass Dartmouth, who we played into an overtime game last year. That was a really tough game. So, I really can't pick one over the other. They're all pretty good. I do know when we get back in January, we have a tough stretch where we play Eastern Connecticut of the Little East. Then we play Emmanuel, and then we play St. Joseph, Maine. So those would be 3. That'll be a good, almost a litmus test for you if to see where we're at coming out of the Christmas break, and give us a good idea of what it's like to play 3 really tough games that'll prepare you for the GNAC playoffs when that time comes.
Yeah, that's an incredible week. Oh my, wow.
And,
we're looking forward to it.
And last question from me, Coach. You mentioned it. I honestly, I'm excited to see the results of the Thanksgiving tournament that you have at WPI. and I know you have a little bit of history with them, but I think I'm more concerned with on the coaching side. How do you keep the mindset of your players playing over those holidays and even getting back into the swing of things come the winter break?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's definitely not easy. We've never played games the weekend after Thanksgiving. We've always kind of had a slow transition back after Thanksgiving, but we wanted to go out and play some tougher competition and play another team that was an NCAA team from the year before. So sometimes you gotta seek out those games and chase those tougher opponents, and so it'll be different. It'll be a little bit difficult. Every challenge we feel like is an opportunity for us to get better and only prepare us for later in the year. So we'll approach it that way. If anything, everyone's in the same boat. We're all going to have a lot of food on Thursday and have to play Saturday and Sunday. So, I'm sure the other teams will be practicing and getting back into it on the same day we do. And then over Christmas break, we come back. We're getting almost 8 days off this year, so a little bit longer because we don't play until January 5th. So when we come back, we'll have a week to prepare for those 3 games that I mentioned before, and that's a really important time for us. We always use those handful of practices after Christmas break to make some adjustments that we needed to make, after the first part of the season. And, that's when we, get really fit for the last push in February. We build a lot of fitness during that week. So that'll be a more important week for us in comparison to the holiday breaks. So.
Excellent, Coach. Well, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. I appreciate you calling in and speaking with us, and good luck at Panera, making sure those orders get done right. And
I appreciate it, guys. It was great talking to you, and always appreciate your support.
Perfect. Good luck on the road there, and
Coach.
get a couple of W's, man.
Absolutely. Thank you. Have a great weekend.